I ain't no typical girl. I ain't no typical girl. I ain't no typical. I ain't cheerleading while the boys play ball. I ain't no typical girl. No. I wanna be right there in the middle of it all.
And welcome back to another episode of the Music Cafe. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are new to the cafe, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. And just so you know the rules, basic rules. Pick up your laptop / cell phone, whatever you're watching this on. Go to the kitchen, make yourself a cup of tea or coffee, grab a piece of cake, then sit down and get comfy. Those are the rules. If you're a regular, thank you so much for joining us again. Y'all know the rules. So tonight / afternoon, again, time zones, guys, time zones. We have got such an epic show. We're going to be touching on a few hot topics that I've really been wanting to talk about. We've got a cafe full of fabulous people from here in South Africa and from the US. And if you guys have any comments or questions for these guys, there is a live comment section. So you're welcome to pop that there on Facebook or on YouTube, wherever you're watching from, and pop them those questions. We'll obviously be bringing them up onto the screen and just talking about them. And we'll be talking about those hot topics with you guys. And just a quick big shout out to IBM.TV, the network. Thank you so much for letting me have this awesome show. I love doing this every Sunday. It's the highlight to my week. And also, thank you very much to fame.org.za. They are a non-profit organization of lawyers that offer their services, their time, everything pro bono to South African artists who can't afford lawyers when it comes to signing contracts, when it comes to legal things. We just get confused with terms and you don't want to sign away your life. So it's important to have somebody look over that and know what you're signing. So if you guys do need help, you're welcome to contact them. In fact, they're here. Hi, Fame. Thank you so much for watching. Well, let me get to it. I'm going to bring up these wonderful guests. First, I've got someone who I love, who I've built this friendship with. He is so awesome. His name is Asanda Brat from South Africa. Hi, Asanda. Hi.
Hi.
And then we have someone who, yay, I'm so happy you're here. We then have somebody absolutely beautiful. I love her hair. I love her makeup. I love what's happening. I commented on it before. She's from here in South Africa. Her name is Maxine Wilde. Hi, Maxine.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
Now we have a beautiful, powerful woman also from South Africa, and I'm so excited to chat to her, just get into her mind. Honestly, I want to just sap it all up, everything. Her name is Farah Fortune. Hi, Farah. Oh, she's loading. There you are. Hi. Hello. And last but not least, we've got somebody Macarena. He's all the way from the US. I love him dearly. His name is Zach Roberson. Hi, Zach.
What's up? How you doing? Thank you.
No, I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for
My
joining
pleasure.
us. This is a room full of fabulous people, and you guys all have incredible stories and backgrounds. And I think why I wanted to bring you all into this room is because I want to chat to you all about certain topics that are floating around underneath this umbrella of COVID. And I think that because we're under so much pressure, the cracks start to show. And it's about time that people really start talking about certain issues and we voice our opinions. And I think the most important thing is to be kind. Kind to one another. And that is something that we always talk about on the show, whether it has to do with business or whatever, is be kind to one another and support one another. So I'm excited to chat to you all about these different things. But before we do that, can we go around the room? And if you guys can just introduce yourself, just give everyone a hashtag Tinder bio version of who you are so people know who they're talking to. Asanda, do you want to start?
Sure. Hi, my name is Asanda, also known as Brat. Based in South Africa. I'm in the PR and media space, and by day, I am a media planner and media buyer for corporate.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I know you've been on before, so I'm really glad that we're back, because last time I had you on, we were chatting to, was it Graham Watkins, Kim Watkins in South Africa, just about business and the PR side of things. So I'm glad we're going to sort of be mixing the two worlds now, which is kind of cool. You know, I'm really glad to be chatting to you again. So thank you. Maxine, would you go next and give everyone your Tinder bio version of who you are?
Definitely. Hi, everyone. I am Maxine Wilde. I am a transgendered woman as well as a drag artist. I'm a makeup artist and hairstylist, and also a pageant queen. Yes, that's me.
I love that. Oh my gosh. I love that. Did you say pageant queen?
Yes, I am.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I used to do that when I was a teen, and that world,
Yes.
I love that world. I just I think a lot of people have this idea that it's just about girls looking pretty and
basically.
that's it. But oh my gosh, if Miss
It's
SA
so
were to
much
run the
more.
country,
So much more.
Something, yeah.
So much more.
So yeah, props to you. Yes. Thank you, Queen. Yes. Farah, will you go next in our hashtag Tinder bio version of who you are?
I'm Farah Fortune. I am the director and owner of African Star Communications, all female-owned, female-run public relations agency. I also have an NPO initiative that's called the Pad Run, and we raise money to supply girls in South Africa with free sanitary pads.
Wow.
That's me.
That's amazing. And when Asanda actually introduced us, and when he mentioned you, he just said like this powerful businesswoman, and I was like, okay, cool, yeah, you're speaking my language now, and I love that. And you also have this motto of just woman empowerment, and I think that is so important and so valuable. And it's not about bashing men. It's about realizing there's a problem and realizing there's an issue there, and then doing something about it. Because a lot of the time people go, okay, 2 + 2 = 4, and congratulations. No. You now have to do something with that answer. There's a problem. Let's do something about that. So I can't wait to dive into everything that you do when it comes to women empowerment. So thank you so much for what you do for the community in South Africa, and I'm really looking forward to chatting to you about that. So Zach, will you please go next in our hashtag Tinder bio version of who you are?
Hello, everyone. How you doing around the world? I'm basically a funk artist, musician, songwriter. I try to get into a little bit of the social activism and see what's going on in the world. I've always been, in tune with what's happening with people's feelings. And, I'm just a funketeer out here in the world trying to make it better. Peace and love to everybody. That's what I'm about, yo.
Yes.
I love that. And I love your vibe. I love your soul. I think you're such a cool person, and I think I've popped onto your show by accident before.
I'm glad. You're always welcome. You're always welcome.
And we just end up chatting, and I love it. And like your time has ended, but we're still chatting.
Yeah, it's all good.
I love it, and I think it's so cool. I love that you said you've just sort of dabbled in the activism space, and especially with I think the word turmoil is a good word for where the world is at right now. And if we look at what is happening in the US, it definitely just filters down to all over the world, including here in South Africa. So I think it's important to also get your perspective and where you're at. And I can't wait to chat to you about also the industry and how it's changed, and how the movement and how the activism in the States is changing the industry, because it really is, including all the topics that we're going to be chatting about. So I actually wanted to start with Maxine. So I love your look. I love you. I think you've got this really fabulous energy about you, and I love people like that. So I love that. And you've literally just hopped off a show. You've come from one show into another show, and you're
Yeah.
awesome for doing that. Great, well done for doing that. That's
Well,
fantastic to keep that energy up.
Thank you.
Can you just tell me a bit about the show that you were just on now, and what work goes into doing that sort of show in preparation, all the above, just as a good sort of platform for starting the conversation.
Okay. So, like I said, I am a drag artist, a drag queen. So,
Yeah.
Bertus is a restaurant which hosts drag performances. So, a normal show would basically consist out of 9 songs that you perform and entertain the guests that are there. You interact with them, you host your own show. Yeah. You just entertain the crowd, and that's what we do as entertainers. It's very
Yeah.
difficult, especially for us entertainers, having to work and get our gigs and get our income.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard, so every bit counts. So as
Yeah.
soon as I got the okay for you can come, you can do a gig, I was like, girl, yes, I'm there, because it's your normal rate, and you also get tipped from the audience, which was really amazing.
And I think it's incredible that you're actually able to work during these times. Like, no one is gigging. So I think it's just incredible that you're able to do that.
You know, you honestly have to take every little gig that you get, you have to take it. And I think everyone has to get down from their little wall and egos and be like, whatever I get, I'm going to take. It doesn't matter how big or how small the gig is or the opportunity is. Unfortunately, you're going to have to deal and take it, because, girl, you don't know when your next gig is going to be, so you have to go with it.
That's right.
No, yeah, no, totally, you're totally right. And I think you're so right when you say that it's not about turning your nose up at certain opportunities. Obviously, if there are certain things that are out of your comfort zone, then fine. But you should still push yourself, and it's about hustling. And I think one of the coolest things about and I think one of the coolest things about South Africans, and Zach, please tell me if you obviously know the space in America so well, but I find that South Africans are so good at hustling. We have to work 3 times as hard to be in the same place as a beginner in the States.
Yeah,
like we are so good at hustling.
It's funny because, see, I'm from New York. I'm from New York, Long Island, but I was always in the city. And the city grind in New York, it's like a beehive. You got to be on your A game. You got to be like constantly grinding. I live in North Carolina now for the past 4 years, but I still, have to do everything in Philly, New York, DC, because I need that ball of energy. And to get back to what Maxine mentioned before, you have to take every little thing if it comes. Here, it's not quite ready yet, but you have to. And the ego thing, I love what you said, Maxine, because this is about spreading peace and love in a time where our voice needs to be heard as artists. We have a lot to say, and people are going to listen. So I applaud you for that.
Yeah, and it's about bringing that hope and that smile or that emotion, whatever it is, to the audience. So I mean, Maxine, I think this is important to talk about these topics, because you being a transgender woman and then a drag queen as well, there is this stigma that there's a stigma about that world, and I think that a lot of people have this clouded view, and it's actually not about sort of saying you're different. That's it. I don't want to be friends with you. You have to be kind. You have to be kind to people, because you don't want people to judge your decisions.
Yep.
And I think, what has it been like, your journey getting to the space where you are now? What has that journey been like for you? And have people's opinions actually changed towards you? Has it become more positive, or is it still just this battle that you constantly have to fight?
To me, people hate because they don't understand. And it's up to me as an individual to make them understand, so that they can accept me and others for who they are.
Sure.
I am a transgendered person. I live my life as a woman every single day. That's me. I am a woman. Doing drag, that's an art form. Anyone can do drag. You can be a straight male, a female, a cat or a dog or a tree, and you can do drag. drag is an art form. So
Yeah.
to me, I had to explain a lot of things to people to kind of make them understand that I am a trans female that's doing and participating in the art of drag. So it's hard, but I believe that it's up to us as individuals to kind of explain things to people so that they have so they can understand things more. So I feel like that is the main thing that we have to do. I've suffered a lot of problems, but a lot of problems I've suffered from is people not understanding, but it's good because I better educated myself to educate those people that were not educated about trans lives and the art of drag.
I like that. I like what you said about educating yourself to educate others.
Yeah, it's
Um,
very important.
yeah, I think it's really important what you're saying, and to be kind and to yeah, to not force your opinion on someone, to actually just, this is how they want to live their life, this is how I want to live my life, and we have to survive this world together. We all have to
Yeah.
get through this world. It's a mess. So why waste your time being ugly to people?
Exactly.
So I actually wanted to ask, because you have this incredible platform now, and you've obviously got this voice that you're using to communicate. Were there any mentors or people that you were able to look up to when you were sort of breaking into this space, or was there no one? You were just sort of, blind leading the blind. And are you now that mentor for people as well? Are there people that, do you see it as a responsibility now that you have to be that role model for others wanting to sort of be like you?
Unfortunately, when I started doing drag, there were not many queens that were willing to assist and help. There were a lot of people to tell me, okay, this is right, this is wrong. But
Sure.
that motherly figure in the art of drag was not there for me. So for me right now, doing drag for 7 years, I want to be that motherly figure to so many queens, not specifically being a drag mother, but being someone that other queens can look up to and kind of tell themselves, okay, it's okay, Maxine has my back. She's
Yeah.
got this, she has that, kind of making them more comfortable and helping them through their journey. I don't want them to be another Maxine Wilde,
Sure.
I don't want them to carry my second name, but I want them to be the individual selves. I want them to to be the best people, queens and people that they can be in and out of drag. I honestly believe, because drag honestly changes your entire world. I I don't feel that I honestly I don't feel that queens should they should allow other queens to help them and assist them, but I don't feel that they should be like other queens, and that's why I like helping queens to find the individual self.
Yeah. Be
Well
themselves.
said.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, Farah, when it comes to your industry as well, because you being a woman in this crazy wild world, and to fight for your space as well, you've become this incredibly powerful businesswoman. And I mean, were there any mentors along your way that encouraged you, or was it also like just the blind leading the blind, looking for and finding your own path, building your own door and knocking it down? And then have you sort of taken on that mentorship role as well?
I think for me, I didn't have many female role models or mentors who were really willing to help when I started. And I think that had a lot to do with, and it still has a lot to do with, so many women feel like, they had to go through the struggles, therefore you have to as well. So they're not willing to open the doors for you. So I'll be very honest with you, the doors that were open for me were very much from men. And men who wanted to see women succeed, because a lot of the time we still have women who don't want to see other women succeed, or are not you know, we grow up in societies where we, as women, we're pitted against each other. And I mean, I was very much one of those women. I would look you up and down when you walked into the room. It was very hard for me to want another woman to succeed because that's how I was made to feel. Like I've got to be better than that next woman and climb on her back to get where I need to be. And she's this and she's that. And it took me a lot of unlearning to realize that that's not how we be as women. And therefore we don't have the same support structures as men generally, because, you know, regardless of anything, men put everything aside to get where they need to be. And with women, we are pitted against each other so much that we look at too many other aspects of things. So we're not supportive of each other. We're busy calling each other names. We don't look at each other as equals. We look at each other as competition, and that's a lot. And it takes a lot of unlearning from school and how you indoctrinated against the next woman to be like that. I mean, if you look at boys when they're young, they're nurtured to be these fighters, these providers, to make sure that they get ahead in life. And women, when we are brought up to be soft and take care of everyone else, and you know, we brought up to be so different than the woman we're made to be or we're asked to be as we get older. So we were having this very conversation on social media the other day about, you know, men are brought up to believe that they should be providers, but when we ask them to provide, we're called gold diggers. So what do you want from us? There's so much as a woman that you have to understand about who society thinks you are. So, you know, for me, woman empowerment isn't about, yeah, we're great and we're strong and we're confident, because I think every woman, and I'm sure Maxine will understand, is just we're tired of being called strong. Why must we be strong?
Exactly.
Why must we always be strong? For everybody else, we must be strong. Nobody looks at us and thinks, you know, do you need help? Without being made to feel that you are less than by asking for help. So I don't want people, I think people need to stop looking at women empowerment as a thing of we want to be stronger and better, but rather can we be in a position of power ourselves instead of asking you for your power? Because I think it's that thing of feminism where people think, feminism is about putting men down. Feminism is really just about getting equal rights for women. That's it. That's all feminism is, about asking to be treated equally. It's not about putting men down. It's not about being better than men. It's about just asking, we want to be equal. Why can't we have the same pay in the same job? Why can't we be, you know, all these, the way we are brought up in life determines where we are in a later stage of life. But when it comes to that's personalities, but when it comes to actually being a woman or a man, we're still put into boxes. Nobody can, the reason people will look at Maxine and say, I have a problem with this, is because we're brought up to believe there can only be men and they can only be women. Therefore, somebody can't feel or be in the wrong body for themselves. And I think that's, when we look at that, there's all these, even being, I don't even know why anyone would want to transgender into being a woman. It's so much work being woman. It's so strong. Like you like as a woman, you take so much.
It's a lot.
You're always wrong.
It's a lot.
You're never right. You always have to be strong for everyone else. It's so much. Yeah. I just think in terms of being a woman in woman empowerment, I feel that the term may just be wrong. It's rather let's be woman with equal power rather than woman empowerment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I do like that. I do like that, because I don't want it to be about I don't want it to be about bashing men. It shouldn't be about that. It should be about I want to be paid as much as another guy. I want to be taken seriously. And I'm pretty sure we've all felt this. Sorry, Farah. There's a slight delay with internet, so if we interrupt you, I'm very sorry. Very sorry. But when I mean, I don't know. I think we've all felt this, that it's not only a gender thing. It can be an age thing as well. It can be a
Yeah.
career thing. It comes in with it comes into play in so many different places where somebody thinks they're just so much better than you, and they just don't take on that persona of let me encourage you, let me help you. It's about I'm better than you. I started out in the industry when I was 12 years old. I earned my first paycheck doing what I do today when I was 12. Nobody, I'm 24, still nobody will take me. People don't take me seriously in certain rooms because I'm young, because I'm a woman, whatever it is in that space. And there's no longer this community. I mean, Asanda, you've spent a lot of time backstage, and you've worked with artists. Do you come across these personas that genuinely do just want to help, and there are those caring people and mentors that you've had that just want to help? Or is there just a lot of that sort of woman on woman, like we're put up against each other, or the young fighting for their space? I mean, when it comes to your side of the industry, do you see a lot of that, obviously?
So for as long as I've been in the industry, for me, it has always been, when I started, it was very hard to ask men for help, because men always had that thing, I am the executive whatever, so I can't be associated with a younger person. And also because of, at the same time, because of my sexuality, being a gay man in the industry, as much as now it's more what you call, people understand it. It's more, it's more easy for you to be gay in this industry. When I started, like, straight men didn't want to be associated with gay men, because they were also, it felt like, if I'm with a gay man, that means people think I'm. So for the most part of my career, I looked up to women, and I asked women for assistance. Farah is one of the women that actually helped me with my career. We met about 10 years ago, I think. And I felt like it was more easy for me to get assistance or get mentorship from women than men. And as much as, in backstage, yes, you can see some a woman to woman competition. And sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's just not. And it is because we in the industry that has been built in a way that women do compete with one another. For the mere fact that they can't be top two, like top females, they always have to be one female on top. We can't be like, oh, this one is number one and this one's number one. There's always has to be number one and number two. And I always say that as much as it's difficult for me as a gay Black man, but also because I am a man, it makes it much more easier for me to move around than a woman, than a transgender. Because there are some spaces where I can pass, where I can go in and be like, okay, cool. They're like, oh, you're a guy, come to sit at the table. Whereas a woman has to prove herself 10 times more worthy to be sitting on that table. And then as a trans woman, I think it's probably way more harder than that. So and we live in an industry, we're in an industry, especially in South Africa, where there isn't much representation of trans women. Correct me, Maxine, if I'm wrong, but
no, definitely.
For as long as I've been in the media space, there isn't much trans women that I've seen. And even in our TV screens, that's why I feel like at times it's such a taboo to see a trans woman, or to hear someone saying, I'm a trans person, whether woman or male or man. Because you go on, you turn on your TV, you don't see it unless it's an American person. You on radio, you don't hear them, or on magazine covers, on print, and anywhere on digital spaces, you don't hear them, their voices in South Africa and in South African context. So
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I actually wanted to ask Zach. I don't know. I mean, is there this representation in the States? I mean, is there? Are we lacking? Do you guys actually sort of do?
Well, yeah, I can get into a couple of things. First of all, you guys are amazing. I'm grateful to be on the panel and grateful to be on your show. And I can touch base on a few things. Number one, from New York City. So everybody was just everybody. But my youngest daughter identifies herself as a lesbian. So we have, never even thought about it. With Maya, I have two daughters, Kayla and Maya. But Maya came to me early on and she said, Daddy, I'm not a girly girl. And I understood what she meant. And it was just Maya being Maya. Now, we don't, I personally, nobody cares about what people are because, in New York City, there was always, and I'm going to address the woman empowerment in a second, but in New York City, there was always an artistical venue for people, no matter what their gender, creed, race was. The East Village, the West Side, CBGBs. You would walk in and just be partying and doing your thing and being creative with people. So it never really mattered where I was from. Outside of New York, in rural communities in the United States, that has always been some kind of fear. And that's why I was going to address what Maxine was mentioning. People fear what they're afraid of when it comes to success. You women that are empowering yourselves, and I like how you said that, but I'm not going to use that term. You're already empowered when you're a human being on this planet. So human beings are just human beings. Man, and I use that quote loosely, has determined and put us in categories. That's why this panel is great, because we've broken through all of that. You know what I mean? And here, I've worked, the Gay and Lesbian Parade. I've done sound techs there. I just see jobs as jobs. But when it comes to women, like I said, I have two daughters. Their mom is a powerful woman. I've always supported that. In my band, I've had women. My booking agent right now is Heidi Wilkinson. Anytime I can do, and I know I'm a Black man, so I empathize with how women, Black gay men, transgender, whatever, I empathize with that as a Black man. I identify your struggle, but in a different way. We're all in that same kind of ship, right? Being oppressed for just who we are. And what I try to do, and my daughter's 12 and 16, so they're at that critical age now. And we've always supported them and boosted them up. I know, even as a Black man, if I walk into a place and there's a woman, chances are, they're going to be like, oh, well, the guy. But I'm always like, no, ladies first. You know what I mean? In my band, ladies first. I always have women in my band. And I always try to just make it, and just so people can really understand, it's not about who you are. It's not about what you do. It's just about being good, kind human beings to each other. And in this country, the election was stolen from Hillary Clinton. She was supposed to be the first woman president, and I'm not going to get political, but it was stolen from her. And I felt so bad for that woman. She earned that and deserved that. And this country has a real hard problem with letting go of that old white male society. That's why we're having the problems we're having now, because the old white male society here, and no offense to anybody on the panel, just won't let it go. But now they got no choice to let it go. But I applaud you, Maxine. I applaud you, Farah. I applaud you, Santi. Be who you are. There's always people in the world like me that's going to get your back no matter what. We ride or die. See what I'm saying? That's how we roll in New York. We ride or die. So it doesn't matter what you are, because they're scared of your success. That's why they try to hold you back. People can sense success. And when they see it, they're going to be jealous of it. They're going to want to try to take it from you. They're going to tell you all kinds of things. And all you do is just use that as fuel. I use that as jet fuel. I've had so many people turn me down. I went into a record company once. The guy ripped up my contract right there in front of me, threw it in the garbage, said, no, you guys suck. You're no good. I walked out so dejected, but I used it as fuel. And when a day is going to come when this country recognizes a woman. We're trying to get a woman vice president now. But when that day comes, that's when I can relax and take a breath and say, my daughters have arrived. You feel me?
No,
Yeah.
I think I've got a younger sister. She's only 2.5 years younger, but she's always gonna be my baby. And my mom is also just is a wonderful woman, businesswoman. Sort of has been that stay-at-home mom when she had my sister and I, but also helps my dad run the business. So I love that unit where there is my dad who fully supports my sister and I, and to have that father figure and to have men like him and like you, Zach, in this world that believe in supporting their daughters and their children in their dreams and becoming successful, and wanting to see a world of change. I think it's really wonderful to see that on the other side of the world as well. I know I've got an American dad who's the same, and well, I call him my American dad, but he's the same, also very supportive. He's got 2 beautiful kids as well, and I love those children, also supportive, and it's wonderful to see there are glimmers of that change. And I actually wanted to, if we could just hold on to this topic of I want to say based violence, because it's not about it's anything based violence. It can be transgender based violence, it can be human being based violence, women based, all of the above. Zach, I don't know if you know, but during under the pressures of COVID, we've had quite a few incidences, not even a good enough word, of gender based violence seriously rising to the top, and just hatred for other human beings of different races, different genders, all the above. And and to see that happening in the States as well is scary, because we see everything that happens in the States, essentially we follow as the rest of the world, we almost follow. And to see it happening on both sides is particularly scary. And Maxine, if I can start with you, when it comes to what is currently happening in South Africa, I mean, where is your mind at? And when it comes to just fill in the blank based violence, it's incredibly scary. And how do you think we go about protecting these vulnerable people? Is there, I mean, do you even have an idea? Or is it just such a big question?
It's honestly a really big question. I'm one of the lucky ones. That's what I can tell you. I haven't been affected by gender-based violence, transphobia, any of those things. But I have experienced, and I've dealt with fellow trans women that have been affected by those things. And it's so scary. And to know that could be me. I could go to the shop and something could happen, and someone might not just agree with something that I'm saying or doing, and it could happen, It's people are not taking it as serious, but it's literally right there, and anyone could experience it. But from my side, the best that I can do is be there for people that have suffered with it. Always open my door to whoever has suffered with gender-based violence, transphobia, and just be there for them. And it's honestly, it's very hard. It's a topic that you are fighting for. We are all fighting for, especially as trans women. All we can do is educate people about things. But things are going to get better. And what I always tell my friends is, what we are doing and what we are fighting for might not be for us, but it's going to be for the next generation of trans women and kids out there. So we have to keep on fighting and pushing things forward, because there is a whole generation of people out there that need people like us to fight for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I know, Farah, I know we've got there's that delay in connection, interweb connection, the wonderful interweb. But when it comes to where have you been affected by this? Have you personally been touched by this, or where is your mind at? Because you literally work in the community. You work with these girls. You're there in the middle of it. So have you seen it, and what are your thoughts on gender-based violence, and how do you think we could go about trying to remedy this?
I think most women have a case. I mean, Maxine's extremely lucky not to have a story. I mean, these days it's not even about, who hasn't it happened to? Because you pretty much everybody knows somebody that something has happened to. I've had friends that it has been affected by. I've had friends that have been killed because of gender-based violence. I've had friends that have escaped gender-based violence situations. I've been in those situations. It's really tough.
Mm.
You know, everybody has an antidote for how to end gender-based violence when they're not in it. And I think the people who, especially in South Africa, the people who have the most say about gender-based violence are men, and it doesn't affect them. And I think one of the reasons that we've had such lax laws and such people not taking it seriously, or our government specifically not taking it seriously, is because in one thing I think we've all noticed in this country specifically, or just as humans generally, you never take anything seriously until it affects you.
Mm.
And our government is predominantly made up of men, and men over the age of 60. So now try to explain that to men who are not affected by it. Now, the only time people that I've noticed in the world in my time on this earth is that the only time that things ever change is when it affects people's money.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
gender-based violence doesn't affect anyone's money. So therefore, it's not important aspect to anybody. It doesn't matter to anybody whether a woman is getting beaten or killed, because your paycheck is still coming through. Until the day that women stop buying anything in this country and completely just vanish with 60% of the buying power in South Africa. Now imagine us disappearing off the face of the earth for 2 or 3 days a week, or a day a week. Can you imagine how we'd affect the economy if we did something like that? Maybe that's the way to end gender-based violence, and say, hey, do something about this, get it together.
It's
Or
powerful.
we'll stop contributing to the economy. Maybe that's the solution, because right now there's nothing else that it will change this, because we don't affect. It doesn't matter what happens to us. The mere fact that we have to refer to women who have transitioned as, we have to give. There has to be a conversation about the fact that, can women who have transitioned use the same toilets? For God's sake, it's bloody toilets. It's not that deep. And I think when we look at conversations like that are happening, why are we having these conversations when we have 3-year-olds being raped? We have 6-month-old being raped. We have 3-month-old babies being raped. For me, that's far more important than whether you get to use the toilet or not.
Definitely.
For me, and that's what I see in this country. Therefore, for me, I personally think that nothing will change until we are at a point where it affects the economy enough to know, maybe they must just kill us all. Kill all the women and realize that we're not actually making money. Then they'll leave us alone. Because right now, there's nothing else. I don't know what else to say, because we've come to this point where we've marched. We've had the president tell us that men who beat us or rape us, abuse us, won't get bail. But as still to this day, from the time we've had these marches, a man will get arrested today and they'll be out the next morning. How many women have been killed because their abusers were arrested the night before and let out the next morning, and they're so angry that you have made a case against them that they have gone to kill you? We are number 1 on the list for GBV in the world. Is that not embarrassing? How embarrassing is that? So I feel like as a country, we don't do enough for gender-based violence. We don't do enough to make people aware of it. I'm extremely scared for my 15-year-old daughter. I'm always so worried something will happen to her. I'm probably the most paranoid mother in the world, and I hate the fact that she has to live like that, because when I go to other countries, even on this African continent, I do not feel scared anywhere else. I've walked the streets of Tanzania at 10 o'clock at night. I've walked Lagos streets in Nigeria at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have never been scared. In countries that we are made to feel that they are far less advanced than us. Remember, we are thought of as the woo of Africa. So when you go everywhere else, you automatically assume it's going to be dangerous. It's not. We're the problem. When are we going to change that? The fact that we are also number one on the list in the world as the most dangerous country for solo woman travelers to come to, that is worrying. We are losing. How much you think we're losing money in the economy now in tourism? How much are we losing because women don't want to travel here?
Yeah.
So I think, we need to look at that honestly as a solution and start finding a way to start affecting the economy enough to make a change. I mean, if you look at the riots in America in the 1960s, there was stayaways in terms of the economy, and this is one of the reasons that segregation was brought to an end, because I think Martin Luther King was one of the biggest factors in making sure that people only spent their money in the Black communities. So it started affecting the economy so much that this is why segregation was really, brought to an end. There were so many different things that came to that, but that was one of them. So maybe we need to affect the economy. Maybe we need to take a leaf out of that book.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting, and I just want to. We've just got a comment here from Fame, and I want to read this to you guys because I think it's quite special. Maxine, your comment made me think of a quote I heard a while back: "Those who strike the spark rarely have the opportunity to sit by the fire." I mean, like, that cuts me deep, Shrek. Like, that's so. I think it's so true that if you look at everything that's happened in the last 100 years of when it comes to this Black Lives Matter or women equality or supporting a transgender women and men, I think, and also in the gay communities as well. A lot of these people started out in the very beginning and they just never got to actually reap what they never got to enjoy. This is what we're enjoying. We're still enjoying this bit here that isn't quite fixed. And I think it's so true that we're still striking the fire. We're still sitting here at this stupid fire trying to light this thing and nothing's being lit, and this small change. And I think what you're saying, Farah, is so true, that like we've got to affect the economy. We've got to do something. And I actually wanted to ask Zach, when it comes to what's happening in the States, Black Lives Matter, and it's almost become something that we've taken on as well in South Africa. I know that it's not really spoken about as much, I don't think, because of the gender-based violence and everything else that's been happening as well. But we've definitely taken it on, and I love this, that people, when Black Lives Matter, this hashtag started going around, everyone was saying, no. You guys know what I'm about to say. All lives matter.
Right.
Yay! Well done. Congratulations. Yes, exactly. All lives do matter. And right now, the coronavirus is spreading, but no. Every single health issue in this world is very important. But do you realize that the coronavirus is spreading? So we need to focus in on the coronavirus to protect our people. Right now, Black people in the States, Black people in South Africa, Black people all over the world are being targeted, and we need to focus in on this topic and see what we can do to change this. Same with women, same with transgender, same with gay, that this people are being targeted and we need to be there to protect them. And I mean, when it came to that hashtag, where were you at? Where were you at with this Black Lives Matter? No. Hashtag all lives matter. Where was your mind at?
Well, here's the thing. It is a great subject. I actually have been to 5 protests. I had my mask on, so I participated in 5.
Sure.
I was there in the middle of it. I actually went for a lot of reasons. I, out and about for IBM TV because I work for them as well. But I went because I had my father's NAACP card in my pocket because my dad marched in the 60s. I remember that when all that was happening. And it was Martin, Medgar Evers, A$AP Brown, a lot of people, John Lewis that just recently died. All these people were on the front lines, arm in arm with white, Black, Spanish, Asian back then. And to now where it is a new generation of rainbow. I call it the Rainbow Coalition because I live across the street from 2 prestigious universities, Duke University, which is known around the world. And I live up the street from UNC University here in North Carolina. And the college kids came out, professors, mothers, fathers. I seen people in strollers. We were, as a collective group, marching for human rights. Black Lives Matter was a subtopic in that, but we were marching for human rights. The reason why Black Lives Matter, people get offended sometimes, some people that are really super not understanding, they think Black Lives Matter means we're not including other races.
Yes, exactly.
But that's not true at all. All people are trying to say with Black Lives Matter is pay attention to this movement. It's not the 60s anymore, so we're going to call it this, but it still has the same meaning behind it. We're pushing for human rights. If you're a minority in this country and you're gay or straight or transgender, right, you got a double whammy on you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to work 5 times as hard just to get your respectability. So I was there. I seen it. I seen people of all races, creeds, colors, all genders marching for the same thing. The reason that I don't like the violence and I'm not for the violence is because it's destructive. It's not constructive. So when you have George Floyd getting killed on national TV, that's going to explode. That flame that you was talking about, the match, that spark went in, but in a different direction. They sparked it. It came out violent because people were fed up. And when people get fed up, I don't know about South Africa. Here in the United States, when people get fed up, it's always going to boil over. And it happened when our country was going through a bad economic time. Nobody likes the president. COVID hit. And now you got the gentleman 3 months before that was just jogging through the neighborhood and they shot him. They lynched him. It was a public lynching. So all human rights are being trampled on here in this country if you don't have the money. In this country, unfortunately, money buys you out of that. Like LeBron James doesn't have to worry about getting hurt on the streets of Harlem at 2 a.m. Or if he went to another place in the United States where he wasn't accepted and nobody wanted him there, he's still who he is. But the average working class person that was at that protest, the 5 that I went to, had their kids with them. I took pictures and they had babies with them, white, black babies, Hispanic babies. And the movement, I think, has to have a ending. Like, it's okay, because I'm a solutions person. Tell me the problem, but let's get to the solution. We should not continue to be talking about it. Let's go to Washington, and Kim says this a lot, and sign bills and papers and get it done that way. Because we can march in the streets all we want, hold up signs all we want. But at the end of the day, what has changed? Voting, changing the laws, and making sure we have women, transgender, gay, straight, in positions to change those laws so they can then filter that back down to their individual groups. You know what I mean? And that's where I think, Barack made a big difference in this country. My kids were born in the Barack era. That's all they ever knew. So when that happened, it changed a lot. And then now we're going backwards again. We were going forward. Now we're going back. So now we're going to change that in November. He's going to lose. And hopefully it will trickle to the rest of the world,
Yeah. And I mean, as a female white South African, it's that the news hit me, the protests and the movement has hit me very differently to how it would perhaps hit Asanda. So Asanda, when this started happening in the States, how did you take that on? Did you take it on personally, or did you think, oh no, we need our own version, or can I join this movement? Where were you at when this started happening in the States?
Well, for me, if anything is happening to a person of color, it's happening to me because that's like my skin. I don't, whether you are in Nigeria or in America, wherever in the world, but if you're a person of color, whatever you are experiencing any injustice, it is affecting me somehow, because at the end of the day, it shows me how, if I was in that country or in that city, I would be treated.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, the Black Lives Matter is not just an American thing. It is, or an American protest or campaign. It affects the whole entire world, because each and every, even in South Africa, as a Black or a person of color, we still, as much as we are a majority in terms of the number of people within the citizens of the country, but we are still treated as a minority. How many people of color are still staying in houses that don't have enough sanitization? They don't have enough toilet, bathrooms. They still live in houses that have leakings and all of those kind of things. So whatever is affecting a person of color in any way in the world, it does affect me. It does affect you wherever you are. So I took it in. I was like, once a Black, because I go to America quite a lot. I visited quite a lot. And I was just like, what does it mean for me when I'm not a citizen of that country? When they can just, a policeman can just kill another man of color who is a citizen of that country, and with no remorse.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, it's hit you in that way, and you're so right that it's you're all, I don't know what the word is, it's community. We're all the same community, and or you would connect with people in the States in your community, and yeah, if you were living there, if you had a green card and you were living in the States, you would be in that same space. So it's totally valid that you feel that way, that you are also angry, and that you are also want to be part of the solution as well. And I actually spoke to, I was on the show a couple weeks ago on IBM on another show, and I was talking about my perspective as a white South African woman who was born in the born free generation. I was born in 96, so it was 2 years after Mandela, and so I was sort of in that free generation. And when we got to vote, it was a huge thing that we got to vote. We're part of this new generation. So all the turmoil that's happening in the world has hit me so differently as someone who's grown up in a space where we're trying to fix this situation. We're trying to fix everything. We're trying to fix what our parents and our parents left us. And I also don't like this term that I don't see color. I don't believe in not seeing color, because that then takes away everything that they stand for. That takes away their culture. That takes away who they are. So I think it's a different thing to wrestle with, and we have to have these conversations where I have to learn. I have to sit back and hear what you guys are feeling as a Black South African, as a Black American. To feel that way is valid, and I've got to take that on. I've got to be part of the solution. So Asanda, when it comes to trying to find that solution, do you think it's near? Or are we still like trying to spark that? Where do you think we are as a country in South Africa, looking at where the States are at now as well?
We kind of are in a space where some others can chip in on this. Farah and Maxine, we're kind of in a space where we can see that there's possibilities. Things can happen for South Africans, for people of color, but we're also in a space where there's still things that exist, for a mere fact that we're in a country that still has a city or a community that consists of Afrikaans people only. And as there's spaces that you can't move into because of your skin color. It becomes a problem. As much as we live in the free world, we're not entirely free. The free world is sold for certain kind of people. It's whether you are in a free world because of your financial status, you are in a free world because of the color of your skin. And you're in a free world because of the sex you were born with, or the sexuality that you identify as. So the the free world is sold differently and it's sold to different people. Until we all get to a space where we feel that as a woman of color, you can walk out of your house at 10 p.m. and not to worry about being hijacked or being kidnapped or being raped or killed, those things, then we're not free yet. We're not free yet as a Black man. I can't walk in certain spaces without making other people feel uncomfortable because of the color of my skin. Or being arrested because I turned a corner that apparently I was not supposed to turn. I turned it in a way that was not supposed to be turned. So we're somewhere in the middle of where we can see where we can go, but we are still stuck to what the world was because of who controls or who governs the countries that we live in.
Yeah. No, and I wanted to ask Zach as well, because you started in this music industry. When did you start? Back in the 60s or in the 70s?
Well, yeah, I'm 62 years old and I'm proud of that. But I actually started playing my first gig in church. I started, playing music when I was like 7, 8 years old, singing. In church, you could just walk up to the instruments. My dad was a minister and start playing. And when I realized when I was like 15, 16 years old, that's when I went out with my first professional band as a drummer, and, it was a great thing to know I had something that I could do that, everybody was an athlete or people was this, that. And when I found my niche, and this goes back to Maxine and Asanda, and for what I see, you guys have found your niche. You've already changed the world as well as you, Alexandria. But when I found my niche in the music game, I was like, okay, I'm going to really do this. I got to put all my effort into it. And it was a little different then because times were different. You could actually go and just show what you had, and people would take you or not take you. You didn't have to jump through hoops. There was no red tape. Like if you wanted to go audition for, I don't know, Earth, Wind and Fire, you could make that happen. If, you just went in and said, hey, let me try to do this. If they were looking for somebody, the word was already out in New York. New York was always, that's why I go back to it. It was always great because there was always a scene, and there were always people that said, hey, so-and-so needs a drummer, so-and-so needs a singer, why don't you go audition for this, why don't you go try to do this play, so there was always a scene, and I was fortunate to be in that scene when I was young. And then once I got into it, it was easy because you meet all these people. The business was hard, but I found my place, and I was like, okay, there's an old saying, stay in your lane. You'll hear me say that a lot. Stay in your lane. Once you find your lane, stay in it. Doesn't matter how many people are going fast or slow past you. That's irrelevant. The universe put you here for that purpose, to spread what you have to spread. And all you guys are beautiful people, so you're already doing that. And the music game now, I'm catching up again. I'm learning from you guys. Your generation has changed it for the better, because you can do both. You could go back and get some of that old school, pro school, and then you could teach us how to do that new school social media thing, which is very important, very important. So we've already merged because the ones before me showed me, and then I connected with them. So it's always that link, always that chain, and that's how it's going to be. When you guys get to a point where you're all successful, you got all your stuff, and you're all successful anyway. And then somebody's going to come to you one day and say, listen, hook me up. And you'll be like, okay, this is what you got to do, X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? Because you've been in the business. And you've been in the business, Alexandria, for a long time, as a young person. All of you guys are doing amazing things. You've already changed the world. Just keep doing it. And I'm fortunate. I got into the game early, and I've been doing it ever since. And, you have your ups and downs, but you roll with the punches. Once you get the cards, that's the hand you got. You got to play it. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
And I like that. Stay in your lane. Just to put the blinkers on and keep going. I do like that.
Stay in your lane.
I do like that. I actually wanted to hop on that as well, because I want us to play a bit of music just to sort of, I have a bit of joy and positivity in the space that there is that future, that we're working towards something fantastic, and that eventually the spark is going to just burst up into a big flame and into a big bonfire. But I wanted to just ask you, because in South Africa, during the apartheid years, when an artist would try to speak out against what the government was doing at the time, they would not allowed to be put on radio. There were certain things that they just could not get their voice out there unless they were doing sort of shows and live events. And when it comes to being a black man in the US, in the beginning of your career, I mean, you just speak about working hard and getting the spot and just keep working hard. But did you ever feel that there was that thing against you, that people just would not take you seriously? They would not actually let you in the room?
It's happening, and it's been happening. And I'll give you examples. Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, people like that were murdered and killed when they actually told the record company, listen, I want to own my own stuff. It was set up like, yes, somebody said, oh, well, this person fell in the river. No, he didn't. He was killed for it. So in this country, and I'm being realistic and I'm being honest with you, there are many instances where there's mysterious things happen to artists. Kurt Cobain, his catalog, and actually the drummer for the Foo Fighters, they had all that set up. And I'm not going to go into conspiracy theories, but there's no way that man took a shotgun as long as his body and shot himself. It was physically impossible. The forensics said there was no way he did it. Now, black men in this country, Barry Gordy was one of the main ones. There's another gentleman that they call the Godfather, who was even over Barry Gordy. Barry Gordy saw all that talent in Detroit. Everybody went to Motown. That was the thing. Get to Motown. Everybody had to get to Motown because he was providing a platform, but he still had the ultimate control. If you went out on your own, like say James Brown, it was difficult. Now, by the time Michael Jackson and Prince came along, they went in and demanded what they wanted. Michael Jackson went to Quincy Jones and said, look, I want X, Y, Z. Yeah. Prince went to Warner Brothers and said, no, I'm going to own my own masters, And that's why that era right there was so important, because that's when the music game in the United States shifted. No longer did Prince and Michael Jackson become black. They became pop stars, and it didn't matter their color. But before that, it definitely affected black artists, men and women. Little Richard, the king of everything, still fight for his royalties, and the man's dead now, just died recently. Never won a Grammy. And everybody stole from him. Elvis, all these people stole all his music. Never won a Grammy. You know what I mean? Now, he got a posthumously award. But during the 60s, he was fighting for his royalties. Sly and the Family Stone, he fought for his royalties. This guy wrote hits among hits among hits, right? But because the record company owned them, that's why when Prince went to the symbol, he was fighting for his name. He said, Your Honor, my name is Prince Rogers Nelson. That's his real name. Yeah. And Warner Brothers said, no, we're going to own Prince. He fought for 3 years in court, got his name back. Things like that always happen. Yeah. And there are evil people out there, guys, and you guys know that. Just keep your energy in the positive way, because everything you represent is positive. There's always some people, and especially COVID is turning over people, showing people who they really are. You know what I mean?
So true.
But as a black man here in America, I'm still fighting that battle. I know certain channels I go through. I know certain places they're going to look at me like, well, no, you just can't walk up in Sony. You're not like Bobby Brown. But I'm like, yeah, so what? He's Bobby Brown. I'm Zach. So what? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's still like that. But, it's getting better. We're going to fight for it.
Yeah. And I think we definitely feel the same way here in South Africa, where it's just, I know as a woman, I'm sure Maxine's felt this as well, Farah's felt this. But I think we should hop into a little bit of music now. Zach, how do you feel about that? Are you keen to do some music?
Yeah,
amazing. I think what I know, Farah, you have to leave now, and I think it'd be cool to say goodbye to you now before we get into the music. So thank you so much for being here and
Farah,
contributing to this conversation. This has been amazing for having you. Thank you so much.
So how do you want me to do the music thing? Tell me. You want me to play or?
Thank you for
Hang on, give me a sec. There we go.
having me. I really appreciate it. It's but I'll see you guys. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Farah. Cheers. Bye.
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 Cheers. Oopsie. Sorry, I think her internet just was just. Sorry, Zach. Her internet was just a
No.
bit
You
slow.
I forgot. Yeah. That's fine.
Cool.
That's fine.
All right. Asanda, Maxine, are you guys cool to hang around for a couple more minutes while we just play some music and then we'll end off with some pearls of wisdom? Are you fine with that?
Definitely.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, Zach, you wanna play something on the guitar? I mean, I know you guys are working your band, and you guys are working on a new album. And so, I mean, is there some stuff you'd like to play from that? Is there a song you'd like to play?
If you just hang on a second, I'll just move my computer over next to where my amp is and grab my bass. And I play bass, so I play drums too. And then I'll play a little something for you. Sure.
I'd love that. Yeah. Defo. Move. Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on.
I mean, and just so you guys know, this we've got a whole lot of comments just coming in, just people like supporting what we're talking about here. And I think the reality is, Asanda, that we're having like this hour conversation, but no way is it like near enough to really dive in to everything, which is crazy, which is great that we've got so much to talk about. So yeah, it's great that we're talking about this and that there is so much to talk about.
Never enough to speak about those topics, and we're trying to do a lot in a small period of time.
Yeah.
But it's better to have a conversation than not to say anything.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing, is that we're actually talking about it, and it's not about this hidden thing behind the curtain. It is something that we are talking about, and there are big issues that's happening in this world. And I think, like Zach was saying, and I do believe it's true, that because of COVID being such a big pressure, it's been a bit of a blessing in disguise for some people in certain situations, but at the same time, that pressure is just showing the cracks. And I think people's real attitudes are starting to come out, which is a sad thing and a good thing that we're seeing the reality of it. So yeah, I'm glad that we are having the conversation. And even if we don't, we're never going to solve anything between the four of us or the five of us in an hour conversation. But if it helps promote some sort of conversation beyond this, that's the important part, that it puts a question mark in somebody's mind. I think that's the important thing. I think that's really important. So Zach, what are you gonna play for us?
I don't know. Like, I'm just gonna jab a bit. Like, I do a lot of funk stuff. I don't know.
Nice.
Is the volume right? Can you hear it?
Ooh, turn it up a bit.
Turn up a bit.
Go up a bit. Yeah.
Better?
Nice.
Good?
Yeah.
I was working on a tune called Wake Up 2020. It's 8:46, meaning 2020 wake up, and then 8:46 on the gentleman's throat. And basically it's I've been working on the tracks, whatever, and the lyrics, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it, but I know the hook, because I'm trying to get people to wake up. And okay, so basically it's like a groove. It's just a straight groove. Just wake up 2020. The time is 8:46. Wake up 2020. Get your throat off my knee. Wake up 2020. The time is 8:46. Wake up 2020. Get your throat off my knee. That's a little bit of it. And actually, I had
awesome.
a keyboard track that I was working on. I can't run it now simultaneously, but it's basically just like a groove. A lot of my stuff that I do is groove orientated. It's just straight funk, for like P-Funk, Parliament, Bootsy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm a drummer. Obviously, I have an apartment. I can't do what I do with my drums, but you know, when I saw the George Floyd thing, I was trying to think of something funky that I could do and still keep the lyrics and you know, keep the groove. You know, and when you hear the song, you'll hear that bass track, but you hear a lot of keyboard stuff on top. You hear a lot of strings and stuff on top. So hopefully I can get that done in the next month. And I have another track that I started working on too, called Pretty Eyes, for somebody I know, you know, in Australia. And it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of, it's not a love thing, but it's kind of like that. And I haven't quite finished that yet, but you know, I sit here in my apartment. COVID got me in, and what you got there, Alexandria? You gonna jam on something?
No, I dig what you're doing, and I just want to say, like, I love the strings. I'm living for your bass strings right now.
The neon, the DR neon strings, yeah.
I love them. I absolutely love them. I really do. So I'm gonna quickly tune this while otherwise, your ears are gonna bleed. So I was like, I'm trying to think of like what I want to play, and I think what I want to do is play a song that. Can you guys hear that? All right?
Yeah.
I want to play a song that means quite a bit to me. It's called "Dear Me," and I literally wrote it in a really tough time in my life when I was just sort of wrestling with health issues and whatever, just trying to find that sanity, because I feel like music, and Maxine, you probably can agree with me, music is a bit of a safe sanity place, you know, serenity now, that's what it is. And
Definitely.
and I wrote the song as a bit of a letter to myself. I don't keep a diary. I suck at writing and keeping diaries, because I still have diaries underneath my mattress that I put there as secret diaries, and they're still there. And but I find that my songs are like my diary, and I think this is sort of pertinent to sort of what's happening in this turmoil in the world. So yeah, I'm gonna play this song for you guys. It's called "Dear Me." Dear me, to everything I wanted to be. Dear me, to my present, my future, my past. I'm writing all this down to let you know you don't have to do life on your own. But all the waiting, which way is it coming? Sometimes the rain, it falls, the clouds are crashing in. Just close my eyes, stay open, watch disaster win. Yeah, heaven's out of sight, but I'm running to the light. Sometimes it's all nothing when you gotta show your feelings. Your feelings, yeah.
gonna be alright, you'll see. Dear me, you got everything you need in your hands. I'm singing this again to let you know you ain't gotta dance life on your own. But all the waiting, all this anticipating, sometimes the rain it falls, the clouds are crashing in. Just close my eyes, stay open, watch disaster win. Yeah, heaven's out of sight, but I'm running to the light. Sometimes it's all nothing when you gotta show feelings. Your feelings, yeah. But all the waiting, which ways are coming? All this anticipating, waiting for disaster to win. Sometimes the rain it falls, the clouds are crashing in. Just close my eyes, stay open, watch disaster win. Yeah, heaven's out of sight, but I'm running to the light. Sometimes it's all nothing, and now I gotta show feelings. I'm fearless, yeah. I'm fearless. Sometimes it's all nothing, and now I gotta show I'm fearless. I'm fearless, yeah. Dear me, be fearless and you will be free. Thank
I
you.
love that title. Fearless. That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you. My mom always said that number one rule, be fearless. That's the number one rule. That's to be fearless. Guys, this has just been, I think, such a great conversation and such a great hour and a half. Gosh, we've been talking for a long time. But like we were saying earlier, this is just one conversation of many, many more conversations that need to be had. And like I said, if this just puts a question mark in someone's mind, that's all we want. That's all we want. Just for you guys to think beyond yourselves and to be kind to one another, and then to be fearless on top of that, and to be part of the solution. To be part of the solution. I think that's so important. Yeah. And thank you so much to you guys for hanging on for. I know we've gone over, so this has just been incredible.
I would love to.
It's been awesome having you guys, and I would just love to go around the room. If there is a pearl of wisdom that you could give to your younger self or someone out there when it comes to just being true to who you are, whatever it is, can we just go around the room? If Sunday, could you start with that, a pearl of wisdom?
So it'll be a bit of what I said the last time. So listen with the intent of understanding, and be, especially right now with everything, with COVID happening, with Black Lives Matter, with gender-based violence, with trans lives matter. Listen with the intent of understanding, and also be compassionate towards other people.
Yeah. No, that's so true. What you just said, perfect nutshell. I love that. Thank you so much for being on the show, Asanda. I've loved having you, and I think you're a wonderful human being. So thank you very much for sharing your heart in this last hour and a half. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. I love having you here, Maxine. I think you are fearless. You are wonderful, and thank you so much for being part of the show as well. Do you have a pearl of wisdom you'd like to share with somebody out there?
For somebody out there that's going through some hard times, all I can say is hang in there. Things are not might not be okay now,
Hmm.
but it's going to be. Try and educate and better yourself and figure out what you want to be and what you want to do in life.
Hmm.
And before you know it, whatever negativity might come your way, it's going to be all water over duck's back and things will be okay.
Hmm.
That's it.
I love that. Water for duck's back. That's so true. That's so true. Thank you so much for being on the show and also just sharing
It
your
was
heart.
only a pleasure. Only
No.
a pleasure.
Thank you. You're so awesome. I've loved getting to know you and I hope to get to know you more. Yeah. Zach. You are such an awesome person. Thank you so much for being part of this. Do you have a pearl of wisdom you'd like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, first of all, next time I come on your show, I'll be more prepared for the music thing.
Yeah, you were awesome.
But you guys have been amazing, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you because I'm still in this life doing whatever I do, whatever, and having fun and making music and making friends like you guys and passing the torch is a beautiful thing. And watching you guys run with it. My pearls of wisdom would be always believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, and believe in yourself. Don't ever let anyone tell you you can't, because I'm here to tell you you can. If there isn't a door, you make one, you build one and go through it. Don't wait for doors to be open and set up for you. Sometimes you got to make your own door. And again, that goes back to staying in your lane. Eventually, people will find what you do well. And all you guys have a special gift and a talent. That's for a reason. Only certain people get to have that, and you guys are gifted and talented. And I once read a quote where it says, the purpose of life is to find your gift. The meaning of life is then to give it away.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I think it's incredible. And you're so right that it is a gift and it's something that you shouldn't take for granted. If you have a voice, if you have a platform, if you have a way of communicating something to somebody in a way that they're going to understand it and they're going to want to take it on as their anthem, then that's incredible. It's something that you should treasure. So you're totally right. Thank you so much, Zach, for being part of this conversation.
Anytime. I'd love to come back. Anytime.
Oh, yes, please. You're awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being part of this music cafe. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Cheers. Bye. Bye. I think this has been such an incredible show. Thank you to everyone watching out there who have just been putting in the comments. We've got so many comments here, honestly. Stuart, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Mark Lee, I see you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. And fame.org, need more funk. Oh, yeah, obviously. And a whole lot of claps. Claps for snaps, snaps and claps. Thank you so much to all of you for watching and being part of this conversation. And if you guys have any more questions or comments, please drop me a DM. I'm Alexandra May Music on every platform. And if you want me to put in touch with somebody, let me know. I can do it. I can see what I can do. But for now, everybody, stay safe, sanitize, and call your loved ones. I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye.
I ain't no